Okay, we're just gonna test this again. So as you can see, system's running, 2080 Super. Your system's booted and running. We're gonna try to reboot it. I don't know if you saw that system uptime that was listed there was 3 days and 22 hours. So we were trying to see if there are issues related to Windows, if it was an update issue. I've been trying to see if there is a driver issue, because obviously the system works sometimes. So it doesn't appear to be a hardware issue, it just decides whether or not it's going to actually boot up and load. So here's where we run into the issue. Okay, nice, great, we booted up to the screen. Obviously you can see your login screen. We're gonna go ahead and log in here. No problems. Now, we rebooted, no issues. We're gonna go ahead this time and shut down. And once it shuts down, there we go. Video's gone and the system powered off. Now we're going to unplug it. Okay. Now we've unplugged the system completely. All right. No power. We're going to go ahead and plug it back in. And it's going to power on. Beep. So you heard that. And post. So if we repeat this cycle, that is powering it down, rebooting it, recycling it, over and over and over again, we're eventually going to hit, and sometimes it's 2 reboots, sometimes it's 3 reboots, and then suddenly no video when you power up. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and restart again. There she goes. Eventually here it'll conk out. Post and video. So these cycles don't seem to have any, what's the word? Logic to them. Sometimes it'll boot up just fine. Other times you'll go to boot, no video, and absolutely no explanation why. Then if we try to start it up and we do a couple of, one time we'll just try to restart it up and no video at all, just like you've been experiencing. However, if we perform several hard boots during that process, so that means turn it on, and then press and hold the power button until it just shuts off in the middle of boot, and repeat that process 3-4 times, suddenly the system will just boot up again. No issues or problems. No explanation, no reason why. So we've obviously powered it off, okay? Powered it off. So we're gonna go ahead here and pull the power plug, okay? Turn it off, make sure it's like fully powered off, okay? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and plug it back in. Turn it on, power it on, lights, cameras. Okay, and once again, boot. So we've been trying to repeat this process. Now, something of note, you'll notice in here, here's your system, but you notice right over here, this is just a phone holder I have in here that just happens to be just the right height to hold up your graphics card, which sags pretty heavily because of the sheer weight of it. It doesn't have a proper, GPU support in here. Now, if I come in here, go ahead and go to shut down anyway, let it do its thing. As soon as it knocks out, Okay, power's down. Now we're gonna just gently take this support out, and you'll notice right there the video card just went down on its own. Okay, now we're gonna pull the power out. Okay, make sure the system doesn't have any power in it. We're gonna go ahead and plug it back in, turn the power back on, and it powers right up. Beep. No post. Now you hear that beeping? That is a code from the motherboard manufacturer letting you know there's a GPU problem. Okay, you'll notice system's powered on, running. The fans have kicked up significantly on the GPU, and the GPU is sagging. Okay, gonna go ahead and turn it off. Gonna unplug it again. Okay, we're gonna put this phone holder back in here as a support. So we're just gonna lift. So it's got proper support here all the way across. Now plug it in, power it on, and then power. Post. No video. Now watch this. I'm gonna press and hold the power button to kill it, and power it back on. Press and hold the power button to kill it. Power back on. Post. Kill it during the middle of booting. Power back on again. Let it boot. Post. We're not getting video any of these times. Okay. Post. Still no video. Nothing from your card, okay? Gonna power it off. We're gonna leave the support in there, okay? Now we're gonna drain the system completely to remove the power state, okay? We're completely bleeding it of any power, okay? You'll see when the motherboard light disappears, there's no power left on it, okay? It's not plugged in, and we have no power. It's completely bled of power. So we're gonna go ahead and plug it back in. We have power to the board, power it on, post, still getting and generating an error. So this is what I'm talking about. So for whatever reason, once the card sags, it's a crapshoot as to when this system will boot up at all. So we can go ahead and power it off again, because obviously we're not getting any video output. Okay, so you'll notice that the system's powered on. Okay, so we've got proper power going to it. No changes here as far as cables are concerned or anything like that. All right, power on, no video, total crapshoot. So if we repeat this process a few times of just powering it off, all right, and powering it back on, as long as we haven't messed with the computer in any way, suddenly, eventually, it powers up and boots, and we get video. No explanation, no reason as to why, okay? But we'll get video. But it only happens when the card has full support, okay? And that means when it's being supported and it's not sagging. So, no video, of course. Done. Power on. Post. Error with the video card. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Gonna power it on again. So initially, we tried all kinds of things. Could not get the system to boot, okay? However, the card works perfectly fine in another computer. Actually works perfectly fine in 3 other computers. No problems at all. And this computer works perfect with a different video card in it. Not a single problem booting. We put a low-end basic card that doesn't even need power in it. No problems, no issues. Booted right up every single time. Put this card back in this computer, okay? and suddenly it won't do video. So you'll notice we haven't made any hardware changes. You saw that it was running at 3 days of uptime, okay? We rebooted and rebooted, we powered down and powered up, and you saw that it was working perfectly fine, logged into your profile. So this is the kind of issue we generally refer to as a phantom computer issue, meaning it doesn't make sense, there's no real explanation for it. Hardware wizards and you know, experienced computer techs can't exactly put a cause to it. I mean, we can attempt to surmise and throw all kinds of, you know, guesses, educated guesses at it as to why, but no real solution as to what causes it, you know what I mean, to not actually output video when it boots. So once again, we're just getting and generating this error. Now, if I kill it, like I said, sometimes it's just a matter of killing it during boot multiple times, and then suddenly it comes back up. So what that would mean in some cases is that possibly a driver power state failure is what's causing the problem, okay? So what that means is that you hear it posting. That single beep means this system in Windows is loading perfectly fine. The computer is working. However, the fact that you're not getting video output and getting a issue or that beeping afterward means that it's having a problem with the graphics card. So one of the things we did was, when we got it to boot up, we went ahead into the system, booted it into safe mode, and completely wiped any and all drivers from NVIDIA off the system. Uninstalled GeForce Experience, the basic driver, all of the NVIDIA tools, everything. Rebooted the system at that point and got video. So we're like, okay, maybe it's a corrupted driver issue with the system. And once again, bad card. So this will just keep going on. And like I said, it's kind of a crapshoot when or if it will boot up and show video again. Like I said, we removed all the drivers, completely uninstalled it, then put the other card in it, booted it up, worked like magic. Took that card out, put yours back in, and the card wouldn't boot, just over and over again. Then randomly, through a cycle of cutting it off during the actual booting process, it booted up again into safe mode, just randomly, okay? And we got video. And at that point, we were able to go back into Windows, reinstall the drivers from NVIDIA, and then reboot. It booted fine 3, 4, 5 times, and then suddenly, when we rebooted, no signal. So the individual hardware in this computer works perfect. The things that we have checked as a company, okay, the work we did works. With a different video card in this, it boots up and works perfectly fine with no issues. The only time we have an issue is with this card in your system. We have tried it with 2 motherboards, okay? Same exact identical issue. So don't really have an explanation as to why. Like I said, this card works great in 3 other computers in this shop, okay? Works beautifully in 3 different computers. So it's not, you know, dependent on the board, whatever. They all have different board manufacturers. One's Asus, one's Gigabyte, and one is MSI. So no problems at all using the card on a different computer. And again, this computer has no problems booting with a supplementary card. And as you saw, depending on the circumstances, sometimes you get lucky and it boots up perfectly fine with this card in this computer and works. And all it takes is shutting it down or moving it a little bit or whatever else, and suddenly when you go to reboot it, no video. So that's where we are right now. I just wanted to give you a heads up and kind of a follow-up so you can see the kind of phantom issue we're dealing with. Also a little bit of explanation of what we've done and how we have identified that everything that we've worked on it has worked. Like, you know what I mean? We didn't install faulty parts, you know, that didn't do the job. The problem we're experiencing is a phantom one that doesn't really have an individual explanation, and we're still trying to identify what could cause it. Obviously, the card's not bad. Obviously, the board's not bad, at least to our, you know, testing and everything else and validation. We've tried a different CPU in the board. It boots just fine as well. So I will just keep checking. I just wanted to give you an update so you didn't think we were just sitting on the computer with no end in sight.